In many nonprofit organizations, there's a relationship that is absolutely essential to success, but often underdeveloped or even strained. It is the relationship between the fundraising team and the marketing team. In this video, I want to walk through 4 practical strategies that will help you better understand the marketing perspective and collaborate more effectively with your marketing team. Let's get started. Strategy number 1, start by understanding what marketing is actually responsible for. One of the first barriers to effective collaboration is misunderstanding what the marketing team is actually accountable for. In many organizations, fundraising professionals assume that marketing exists primarily to support fundraising campaigns or donor acquisition efforts. While that is certainly part of their role, it is not the full picture. Marketing is typically responsible for shaping and protecting the organization's overall brand identity, ensuring consistent messaging across all audiences, and building long-term awareness among stakeholders who may not yet be ready to give. Their focus is often broader and more long-term than fundraising, which is naturally more focused on immediate revenue and donor conversion. When you understand this difference in responsibility, many of the tensions that arise between the two teams begin to make more sense. What may feel like a lack of urgency from a fundraising perspective is often a strategic decision to maintain consistency and avoid confusing external audiences. What may feel like overly cautious messaging is often an effort to protect the organization's credibility and long-term positioning. This does not mean one perspective is right and the other is wrong. It simply means that they're operating with different lenses. Fundraising is often focused on immediate action, while marketing is often focused on sustained perception and trust over time. The first step towards better collaboration is to stop assuming misalignment is the result of resistance and instead recognize that as it is usually the result of different priorities. When you begin to see marketing as a partner with a distinct but complementary role rather than a barrier to fundraising effectiveness, the tone of collaboration naturally improves. This shift alone changes how conversations begin. Instead of approaching marketing with requests or demands, you begin approaching them with curiosity and alignment. You start asking how your fundraising goals can fit within their broader communication strategy rather than positioning those goals as separate or competing priorities. Strategy number 2, translate fundraising goals into marketing language. Once you understand the marketing perspective, the next step is learning how to communicate your fundraising needs in a way that marketing teams can effectively engage with. One of the most common breakdowns between these teams is not disagreement about goals, but miscommunication about how those goals are expressed. Fundraising teams often think in terms of donors, dollars, and deadlines. Marketing teams often think in terms of audience segments, engagement rates, messaging frameworks, and content performance. When these two languages are not translated properly, collaboration becomes inefficient, even when both sides are well-intentional. For example, instead of approaching marketing with a request like, "We need an email to raise funds for our campaign," it's often more effective to frame the conversation in terms of audience behavior and communication objectives. You might say something like, "We're trying to re-engage lapsed donors who previously supported this program, and we believe a story-driven message highlighting impact could help reconnect them emotionally before we ask for your renewed support." Do you see the difference? This shift in language often does 2 important things. First, it shows respect for the marketing team's expertise by framing the request in strategic rather than transactional terms. Second, it increases the likelihood that the resulting communication will be more effective because it aligns with how marketing professionals are trained to think about messaging and audience engagement. This is also where collaboration becomes more productive. When both teams are speaking in shared strategic terms rather than isolated functional language, the quality of creative output improves. Campaigns become more integrated, messaging becomes more consistent, and audiences receive a more cohesive experience across channels. Ultimately, this is not about one adapting to the other. It is about building a shared language that allows both teams to contribute their strengths more effectively towards the same mission. Strategy number 3, involve marketing early in fundraising strategy, not just execution. Another common challenge in nonprofit organizations is that the marketing is often brought in too late in the fundraising process. By the time marketing is asked to support a campaign, many of the key decisions about messaging, audience targeting, and timing have already been made. This leaves marketing in a reactive position, responsible for execution without having had the opportunity to shape strategy. This approach limits the effectiveness of both teams. When marketing is only involved at the execution stage, opportunities for stronger storytelling, more cohesive branding, and more strategic audience engagement are often missed. Fundraising campaigns may still function, but they rarely reach their full potential. A more effective approach is to involve marketing at the beginning of the strategy process. This does not mean slowing down decision-making or adding unnecessary complexity. It simply means ensuring that marketing has a seat at the table when campaigns are being shaped, not just when they're being launched. When marketing is involved early, they can contribute insights about audience behavior, messaging trends, and communication effectiveness that may not be visible from a purely fundraising perspective. They can also help ensure that campaigns align with broader organizational narratives, which increases consistency and strengthens brand trust over time. From a leadership perspective, this requires a mindset shift. Instead of viewing marketing as a service function that executes fundraising ideas, it's more effective to view marketing as a strategic partner in shaping those ideas from the beginning. When this happens, campaigns become more integrated, messaging becomes more intentional, and both teams feel a greater sense of ownership over outcomes, which naturally improves performance. Strategy number 4, build shared success metrics that reflect both priorities. One of the most overlooked barriers to collaboration between fundraising and marketing teams is the absence of shared success metrics. When each team is evaluated independently based on different outcomes, alignment becomes difficult even when collaboration is strong. Fundraising teams are often measured by revenue, donor acquisition, and retention. Marketing teams are often measured by engagement, reach, and brand awareness. While both sets of metrics are important, they don't always tell the full story of reorganizational performance when viewed in isolation. A more effective approach is to identify shared metrics that reflect the contribution of both teams to overall mission impact. For example, instead of evaluating a campaign solely based on dollars raised or impressions generated, organizations can begin to track how marketing engagement translates into donor conversion or how storytelling performance influences repeat giving behavior. This creates a more holistic view of success. It also encourages both teams to think beyond their individual silos and focus on shared outcomes that matter most to the organization as a whole. When success is defined collaboratively, collaboration itself improves. Marketing becomes more invested in donor outcomes. Fundraising becomes more attentive to messaging quality and audience experience. And both teams begin to see themselves as part of a unified system rather than separate functions. This shift is not just operational. It is cultural. It changes how teams communicate, how decisions are made, and how success is ultimately defined. At its core, improving collaboration between fundraising and marketing is not about process or tools. It is about perspective. It requires recognizing that both teams are working towards the same mission, even if they approach it from different angles. When fundraising professionals take the time to understand the marketing perspective, translate their goals into shared language, involve marketing early in the strategy, and build aligned success metrics, something powerful happens. Silos begin to dissolve. communication improves and campaigns become more effective, not because more effort is being applied, but because that effort is being aligned. In the end, the most successful nonprofit organizations are not those where fundraising is strong or marketing is strong in isolation. They are the organization where both functions operate in harmony, reinforcing each other's strengths and working towards a shared definition of success. If this perspective has been helpful, I encourage you to subscribe to the Jim Dempsey Fundraising channel, where we continue to explore practical strategies that help nonprofit leaders strengthen their relationships, improve fundraising performance, and build more effective organizations. As always, I wish you the best as you strive to become fully funded. Thanks a lot. See you in the next video.